Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube segment, I'm going to be talking about having the courage to say yes. Now, many of you may have heard of the expression about having the courage to say no, and a lot of times this applies to a situation where you have somebody that is continually in a very persistently asking you for favors, for this and for that. And a lot of times they have either have the ability or potential to do it themselves, or they're just basically using you, and really they're not really your friends, and they're just people that are basically they just want you there just to help them constantly. And a lot of times we do have to have the courage to say no to that. But there are times when we need to have the courage to say yes as well. And let me try to explain this. Well, the thing about it is, okay, a lot of us are very self-contained in our own world. We're a lot of times we're engrossed in our own activities, in our own lives, and we almost can be oblivious to what others do around us. I could say that I could be very guilty of that from time to time. I could be very much in my own zone, in my own world, my own sphere, with doing my own activities. Many of you may know me from my other channel, one of my other channels, my astrology channel, and I mean, astrology is something that I'm very infatuated with, and I really really have a lot of interest in that, and that takes up a certain amount of time for me, things that I do connected with my astrology videos. And sometimes I think, not just me, but in general society, we do forget about others. And when I talk about having the courage to say yes, a lot of times it's just about going out of our comfort zone and being able to say that we're going to help somebody else, we're going to make a sacrifice, and we're going to show some selflessness and help this person. If it's somebody that's in an unfortunate situation, somebody that's dealing, say, with oppression, or that is in an impoverished situation, I don't know if I'm saying it right, either destitute or state of destitution, that people in that kind of situation, we can reach out and help them. We don't necessarily have to have him or her ask us for assistance, because we could just do it ourselves without even being asked. And it's one of those things where I think a lot of times we, as a society, we are reluctant to reach out to others because we think that if we do something one time for somebody, it's going to be like a cycle of becoming, so to speak, that that person is going to anticipate us to keep helping them. And we don't want it to be a situation where it becomes a constant thing where they're expecting the help from us, and we have to go out of our sphere and sometimes out of our way, maybe to a degree, in order to help him or her. And I think that's where a lot of that problem lies. And it's basically, I think a lot of it comes down to using discretion as to who we help. And those people, if we feel we find that right person, say that has the potential to help themselves at some point, we could reach out and help them. And as I stated before, we don't necessarily have to be asked to do this. And we see someone on the street that's in a very bad state, we could always offer them something to eat, or as terms of going into a fast food place, or offer them some get a bottled water, for example, for that person. And if you just do, I mean, I generally don't do like that. And admittingly, what I've done with some people is I've helped them in terms, like, I might give somebody $1 if I see like a homeless person on the street or something. People have advised me that they thought, someone told me one time that it would be better to just go into a fast food place and just give them some food, because this way you know it's going toward that, and it's not going towards something like alcohol or something. So I guess that is something to consider, and that's up to each person how they want to do it, whether they want to give them the cash or or just take them somewhere to get something to eat. But the thing about it is, we have to a lot of times come out of our own box. And I think and I know there's some people that are in situations where they can barely help themselves, so I do understand that, and they might not have that potential to go out and help other people. But I think there's a lot of people out there that have a lot more potential than even they're willing to say, to acknowledge that they could help out other people. It could even be just going into making a donation to some kind of a homeless organization. And they don't even necessarily have to go reach out to an individual. Some people, I think, are afraid and reluctant to even reach out to them. For another reason is because they feel that those people might be dangerous, or they got a knife or something, and it's about self-preservation, and I get that. And that's another thing that people are often concerned about. So there are ways in which you could help these people, and really help people in general. And really, it doesn't even have to be someone that's in an oppressed, or somebody that's homeless or in a bad life situation. It could be just somebody asking you a question to help solve maybe something, or asking for your advice on something. And really, it's about willing to say, okay, I'm going to help this person out, but it has to be, you really have to understand, as long as it's that right person that you're helping. It's not going to be somebody that's going to be trying to take advantage of you and use you, because a lot of times somebody will ask you for something one time, and then they'll keep asking, without making that effort perhaps to get that assistance for themselves. So it's about knowing when, I think, to show the selflessness towards somebody. And sometimes we do, as I stated earlier, we do have to say no at some point, and have the courage to do that as well. We have to have the courage to say yes in the right situations, and of course have the courage to say no in the right situation. And a lot of times it's just about showing the compassion to others when it's necessary, and when we feel that there's a need to do it, and we feel that it's the right time, and we see somebody in a certain particular situation that we can help. And like I stated, we don't even have to be asked for it. We could just see somebody and just reach out to him or her. So anyway, people, well, that'll conclude with this YouTube segment of having the courage to say yes. And until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.